What's up, guys? We're back with another video with NGS Everything, and today we continue talking about the motorcycle portion of our channel, and we're actually going to start some other stuff. So it's been a minute since all my stuff's been painted, still waiting for the clear coat. We still got all about like a month and a half before we can do anything, but there's a couple more things we can still do to the bike, and a couple things I've actually picked up that I think will be recommended for this particular thing we're going to do, and just overall nice things to have. Stuff that you're probably just going to want to have in general, the rule of thumb. Also, I did paint my mirrors, and they turned out okay. They were really scratched when I first did it, but you notice how it's it had like that weird effect on it. So I gotta sand it down, do it again, or I might just leave it. I mean, at the end of the day, I just wanted to make the mirrors look a little bit better because they were really scratched up and really dirty and I couldn't clean them. So I might just leave it like that. I mean, it looks kind of stupid, but fuck it, right? The other one, kind of same deal, but then again, you know, they're just mirrors, so it's not a crazy big deal, but I figured if I can, I was gonna do something with them. We're just gonna put these right here. So it's been a minute since we last talked. Give me a second. It's been since last talked. All our paint is under tarps right now, so I'm trying to keep dust off it. So as you can see, there it is. Keeping it frosty. So let's look at what we picked up. So we got some latex gloves, right? Got some shop rags finally. We got some regular 3-pack clean white, just multi-purpose towels, and then we got some microfibers also for when before we clear coat, make sure we got the dust off. And I got ourselves this beauty. Now this thing's nice. This is it's actually meant for diesel, but what we're actually going to use this for, I have an oil funnel, but I don't have a funnel for this one, and I want something small, a little different. So this is actually, I'm going to use this for my radiator. So in this video, we're going to actually be draining the liquid from the radiator, and we're going to be removing the hoses and sealing off the holes. And then later on, we'll come back to this video and we'll show you guys the install of the new hoses, how to clean out and run distilled water through the system, and then how to fill it back up using this. But for now, we're not going to be filling it back up. This is going to be a 2-part video where we're basically just taking the hoses off now and draining it. Now, normally I'd be doing this outside, but it's actually snowing right now, which is why I picked up that. So this is just a giant plastic bin. Nothing particularly special about it. And then I'm going to use this for soap and stuff later on because I don't have a bucket. So this is actually going to be placed underneath the motorcycle to catch the fluid. That way there's no way I can make a mess. It's nice and big. I'm also going to be laying a tarp down and some other stuff. So I'm going to get everything set up and get the bike unwrapped so we can start getting to the video. So I'm going to right here actually, I still need to find out. I need to find a good setup for you guys to be set up at. I wonder if I can just do you guys over here for now. Want you to kind of be able to see everything. Sorry guys, just give me a second. Maybe right here. I like that. That's better. All right. So I'm going to get my bike out of here. Then we're going to set everything up. Now, I'm just going to clarify. This is not meant for oil. I'm going to be using this to clean the underside of my bike and to be draining coolant. When it comes time for oil, I'm going to use this pan right here. It's specifically designed for oil. Even has a little drip nozzle, which is nice. That is just going to be for soap and water. And then this is just to be basically a collector tray. It's the only purpose of this. It's just to collect dirt, grime, coolant, whatever. I have a tube out in the car that'll be able to drain all the coolant into a jug and then take that jug and dispose of it properly. But this is just to catch it. So this is going to be going under the bike right here. Look at that. Perfect fit. And we'll get right into the nitty-gritty. So, cool thing about this is, so obviously it works better if you have bike stands, but that's okay because we don't really need it much on this side. We actually need it more on the other side because this is where we're going to actually drain the physical coolant. Now, what we're going to do, I mean, this honestly would be really good for oil, but we're not doing that. I could drain the oil too in this video, but I'm going to wait because I just don't know. Like, I just don't know realistically what we're looking at when it comes in terms of, like I don't want to leave it like that for too long, right? But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn this a little bit like this, right? So this is the drain plug, and it's also right here, right? We want to make sure this is going to spill, okay? It is going to spill liquid. The bike does not have to be on for this, and it shouldn't have to be like warm. I mean, I'm sure if it's warmer, these are much easier to, you know, move around, but realistically you don't need it warm. In fact, I actually recommend doing it cold because if it's too hot, it can burn you because this stuff can be searing hot. So what we're going to do is we need to take the cap off. Before we take the cap off, we're actually going to leave the cap on because it has a vacuum effect in it right now. To help make it so it's not so much of a mess, we're going to take the clamp off, right? Unhook the hose, then take this off so it can all properly drain. And then we'll take this off too to make sure nothing comes out of here. And this is just going to help make it so that there's no mess. You're going to want to direct this kind of long ways along this so we can catch this as much as possible. And we got to tarp everything so if we have to clean it up, we have the equipment to do that. I'm not worried about it making too much of a mess. And this is going to help us control that also. So first thing you're going to need, killer job, is you're going to want, actually might be on here, yep. You're going to want some of these. You're going to want some adjustable clamps. Now, the new plants I have are going to be fasteners, so they actually require like a screw or like an impact gun. These ones, however, you got to squeeze them off. You got to clamp them like so in order to do anything with them. So I'm going to try my best here since I don't have my wife to help me video all this. We're going to try to do this best we can with what we got. So I'm just going to adjust it to a size I feel like will be good. Okay. So now we're going to do, now remember, taking this off necessarily isn't going to make anything happen. We're just going to take this and we're going to squeeze it like that. See, now it's loose. Now we're going to try twisting it. Kind of, if it's never been taken off before, it's going to be kind of like almost like a seal. It's just going to be kind of hard to remove. So you're going to want to squeeze that and wiggle it down. Now, I don't care about damaging these hoses or saving these clamps because, like I said, we're replacing all of them. But just so that we don't have, just for the fact that we are going to be replacing it anyways, if something does happen to the new stuff, we will keep the hoses intact, but the clamps don't really matter. So what we're going to do now, so you're probably going to want to get a flathead screwdriver. It's not recommended, but it could be required. So sometimes this does not want to come off. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to try to wiggle it off. Kind of just wiggle it back and forth, see if we can break the seal here. We probably won't be able to because, like I said, this can be kind of challenging. I'm probably not going to be able to. So, also, you don't technically need this to be in stands. It's actually, I think it's actually required or actually recommended that you have it on the side stand like it's on. I don't know, you can't really see it because of the thing, but on your side stand. But you can do this on stands. I actually would prefer doing that because that way I can actually get a proper thing on there, but it's okay. I mean, this stuff is sealed, and it's going to be sealed. And I'm probably going to want to have two hands here in a second. So you can see there's some of it coming out now. So, like I said, there's a vacuum effect in it, so it shouldn't do anything crazy. But it could still do something crazy. So just be mindful of this, okay? This is technically my first time doing this, but I've done a lot of research. But there's only one way to find out. So what we can do, you can actually put a screwdriver in here, and you can actually squish a lot of this out. See that? Kind of get to zoom in so you guys can see. I'm kind of squirting some of it out, kind of releasing some of the pressure before I physically pull it off. And the goal here is you want to make this as mess-free as possible if you can, even though despite you doing that, you are probably still going to make a mess because, like I said, this stuff is going to get everywhere. Now, coolant is not necessarily stainful, and it doesn't necessarily ruin anything, but I definitely recommend, just for cleanliness sake, I do recommend just having yourself some pair of gloves. So I picked up from the store. Believe it or not, it was actually kind of hard to find gloves, but I picked up, actually picked up some gloves here, some of these. Get an idea here. Some little packed gloves. I've been in dire need of some, honestly. Now we have some, so now I can start properly doing things. With these gloves, I would be able to, I mean, I could even drain the oil too. I just don't really have a great way of disposing it. And I don't really know, this is actually just my personal preference. I don't honestly know if having no liquids in the motor will do anything to it. I'm assuming if it's not running, it doesn't matter. But I will wait to change the oil when I can show you guys a more detailed video about how that happens. It's a really nice gloves. Nice and tight fit, but not too tight. Okay. So that's off. Now we can continue doing this. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that I would want you to use pliers, but this is being kind of a pain in the butt to take off. The seal is not really broken. A screwdriver is a good way of doing it. Okay. So once you've kind of gone around the whole thing with your screwdriver head and kind of break that seal, it should now come off. And again, we expect it to make it a little bit of a mess. Just like that. Good. Just like that. Beautiful. That worked out perfectly. Make a mess or anything. All right. So I'm going to now go ahead and show you. So as you can see now, it is properly draining. And so, see, the new stuff I'm getting is blue. This is kind of like a little bit of a green. It kind of looks blue on camera. But now that this is off, now what we're going to do, and now that we have the thing ready to catch everything, now we're going to open the top reservoir cap, and that should now help get the rest of it all out. But there shouldn't be that much more in here. Let's see. Okay, it wants me to turn it this way. And as you can see, now that I have it unlatched, the second I pull it off, it's gonna want to come out everywhere. So I recommend now, like I said, we're gonna kind of push this back a little bit. Camera here. I don't want you guys being in the splash zone. I don't really have a good position. I'm gonna do this right here. So I'm gonna bend this down as far down as I can, and then I'm gonna release the cap, and you'll see it come out. No. Nice. So the cap is now off, so that's good. I mean, we're pretty much, well, not entirely drained, but we're really close. So now we can do a couple more things. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get my T20. I believe it's a T20. Yes, it's a T20. We're gonna undo this. This is a bleeder plug. Now this will be kind of hard to unscrew at first, so just take your time with it. But once you break it loose, and again, a torque wrench is probably preferred. This will help also make sure that there's no air keeping things in. You see there's a washer behind it, don't lose that. Okay, looks like a little copper washer. Okay. So now that that's all good, now we can actually take off some hoses. So we're gonna first start with this one. Now that, and we're actually gonna tilt this my way just a little bit, because I want to make sure you get it all out. Now we're not gonna stop using the tray to catch stuff until after we know for sure everything's out. Okay. But we should be good to go. And try to do everything you can underneath the pan so that nothing makes a mess. So now we're going to remove this clamp, and we're going to scoot this forward. Now we're going to take that off. Same procedure as before. Now the good news is everything should be drained, so there should be nothing stopping us from just being able to take this off. Now twisting it can help if you guys feel like twisting it. This is still technically in my way. Okay. Yeah, twisting it a little bit definitely broke it. Nice and awesome. Okay. So now, make sure all this stuff's drained. Now, I personally am actually going to keep these. I'm not going to throw them away because I don't want to not have spares if something were to happen. And the new ones are high quality stuff, but these are still stock, and I definitely don't want to lose them. I would just leave the clamps on them. Like, again, try not to break any of this stuff, but just make it so that, you know, you're not doing anything like crazy. So now we're also going to do is we're going to take out the reservoir here. So we're going to unplug. So this is a bleeder hose. We're going to unplug it. So it's also, this is not a T20. That is a little bit bigger. Give me a second. Let's see, where's my, looking for my, there it is. So now I'm gonna use my Torx Allen set, or my Torx, I don't know what you actually would call this. I think. Now we're gonna unscrew the thing. I gotta get a camera stand here so you guys can have better views of this stuff. Just gonna set you guys down for a second. So this is a T27. At least it is for me, T27. It fits nice and snug. I'm actually missing a bolt. I don't know why, but that's why it's a good idea to always just kind of take it apart in general. Man, I think everyone should take their bike apart once if they plan on keeping it for a long time, because there are going to be some things probably missing, and you're definitely going to probably want to know what those are. Just from personal experience, it's going to be a good idea. Good investment. Okay, with that out, now we can remove this. Kind of just unwrap it, because it's going to be kind of just like bound up. And see, this is also wrapped around this, so I'm going to actually take this off. I had some spill here, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. These are nice shop rags, nice and big. So let's head up here. Oops. Oopsies. It's all good in the hood. The good thing is coolant is essentially just water with some chemicals in it, so it really shouldn't stain or do anything, but that's why we have the tarp, just in case something like this happens. Okay, anyways, so what I chose to do, so I hanged it upside down with the drain or overfilled bleeder into the tank, and it actually drained the whole thing. Well, not the whole thing, almost the whole thing. So now that it pretty much did the whole thing, now I don't know if I'm replacing this, so I'm not going to remove this. So now I'm just going to unplug this, like so, and then we're just going to drain the rest. Make sure, get it in the hose and drain it. Now, you don't have to get all out, but I definitely recommend doing it. I think I do want to disconnect this though, just because I do want to clean it. I just don't know if we're going to have a replacement for this, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. Give me a second. Also, make sure when you take everything off, it's a good chance to clean it, make sure everything looks good on it, make sure the gaskets look good on it, make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Just always be double checking this stuff. I'm going to put this up here so it stays nice and clean. This too. Don't forget the washer. The washers, I mean, copper washers like that are kind of, well, not expensive, but they're just, there's a lot of good hardware on this stock, so you don't really want to throw everything away. I would just, just make sure you keep things in, show someone intact. Like I said, you don't really want to lose some of this stuff. Okay, so now that I've wiped some of that up and cleaned it, I think we're good to go. We're going to leave this alone for now. I'm going to properly drain it soon. Like I said, I don't really have, we're just going to get the hoses off for now. I don't have a lot of the equipment I would like to have right now, so unfortunately, we're going to leave that alone, and then we will flush it out later. I don't know if I'm replacing these hoses, so I don't want to accidentally break something or pull something if I'm not going to replace it. But so what this is right here, this is called the overflow reservoir. So this thing actually technically doesn't necessarily have to be clean. This is basically just catching overflowing liquid, and then this hose right here just drains the liquid that goes too high. Because you know, obviously heat causes expansion inside the coolant, so the coolant needs to be able to escape somewhere if it gets too hot, and that's what the overfill is for. In fact, the overfill should almost always have something in it. Not all the time, but it should always have something in it. But it shouldn't be a lot, though. It should be somewhat of a medicinable amount. So, like I said, coolant necessarily isn't messy, but it does have like a residue on it. It's not super slippery, it's not super bad for you or anything like that, but I would just try to keep it contained. Like I said, I did spill some of it concrete, so to clean it up, I would just probably get some rags and lay it down. It will eventually dry up, but if you're just like, you know, if you spill a lot of it, you know, again, best to do this outside, but if you have to do this kind of like how I'm doing it, you don't really have a choice. Then inside's all you got, then inside's all you got. Anyway, so now we're gonna take another rag, a clean one preferably, but I mean, actually, we're actually gonna take not a clean, we're gonna get a dirty one, because we don't want to just keep dirty stuff. And now we're gonna wipe everything down, kind of just really just make sure everything's nice and clean. Again, I don't know if anyone has done this. I personally, all I know is I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who has. So, as much as that kind of sucks, it is what it is. So, from what I understand, every hose that we have here that has one of these clamps on it, the ones that we've been pulling off, clamp, like this one we're replacing. I know for a fact we're replacing this hose. And this is a smaller hose. And the hose goes, let's see, it goes, where'd it go? It's around here somewhere. Ah, right there. You can see it. It's kind of tucked behind here. But we are replacing this hose. Now, since the coolant has been drained in the bottom, and I'm pretty sure that looks like almost all of it, we should be safe now to actually take stuff off. So now we're going to work on this hose, which is the next hose. Same procedure. And we don't have very much stuff to catch over here, but like I said, this shouldn't be the same situation. This should be a little different because the coolant has been drained. Kind of keep mindful that opening other stuff up might cause stuff to leak on the other side, so kind of try to keep everything as covered as you can if it's possible. So now we're going to remove this one with the same methods we were using before. Just going to use my clamp here. Now, obviously, what you're going to need is you're going to need this tool. Pretty much that's it. This and maybe like a flathead screwdriver. But you're going to need the tank off. You're going to need all the side fairings off in order to do this. I mean, technically, there's probably something you can get away with. But from my model, every model's a little different. And I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. But every model's a little different. It's very hard to do with one hand. Every model's a little different. My model just happens to need to tank off. Some models may not be like that. So just, you know, inspect your bike and really see just how much of it, you know, is how it is. Now the good news is these aren't plastic. These are metal. So these really don't, you know, they don't break that easily. So that's good. Now these, this one came off a little tough. It kind of was like stuck to it. You can probably tell this has never been removed because it's been clamped on there pretty good. Now we gotta remove the other clamp. We're gonna do that after we pull this one out. So this one we're gonna get my screwdriver and we're gonna yank it out. So this